Trust! Your survival depends on it. Out in the wild, trust isn't just some feel-good thing. It's as vital as a good fire in a blizzard. When the chips are down, you need to know the people watching your back aren't going to turn on you. But in a real survival situation, how do you tell who's truly reliable? How can you separate the genuine preppers from those who might crack under pressure? That's what we're tackling in this video. We're diving deep into the murky waters of spotting untrustworthy individuals, those who might spell danger when you need solidarity the most. Because knowing who to trust, that can be the difference between making it out alive and, so grab your gear because we're about to navigate the wilderness of human nature, and trust me, this terrain can be just as treacherous as any jungle out there. There's a fine line between being prepared and being overly secretive. Excessive secrecy about preparations is a warning sign. True survival is seldom a solitary endeavor. It's about building a community, sharing knowledge and resources. A genuine leader shares expertise and empowers others. Out in the wild, being observant is essential. However, there's a fine line between being vigilant and being overly suspicious. Constantly monitoring others can create an atmosphere of fear and distrust. Trust is built on transparency and honesty. In a crisis, you need to depend on the people around you. If someone's default setting is suspicion, it's wise to keep your distance. Out here, your word is your bond. It can be the difference between life and death. If someone has a history of dishonesty, of bending the truth, or manipulating others for their gain, that's a canyon you don't want to cross. Past behavior is often the best predictor of future actions. If someone's lied and cheated their way through life, what's to stop them from doing the same when resources are scarce and tensions are high? Would you trust them to share their last meal, to help you when you're injured, to put the group's needs before their own? I wouldn't, because survival isn't just about physical strength, it's about moral strength, about integrity. And someone who lacks those qualities is as dangerous as any predator in the wild. The lone wolf. Now, I've spent my fair share of time alone in the wilderness, but when it comes to long-term survival, community is key. If someone consistently shies away from group efforts, showing little interest in helping others prepare, that's a warning sign. Survival is rarely a solo sport. It requires teamwork, cooperation, and a sense of shared responsibility. Someone who isolates themselves, who only looks out for number one, might not be there for you when you need them most. They're likely to see the world as me versus them, and in a crisis, that kind of mentality can be toxic. Remember, a true survivor understands the strength in numbers. They're willing to lend a hand, to share their skills and resources, because they know that a community that stands together survives together. The weight of selfishness. In a survival situation, it's natural to look out for ourselves, but there's a fine line between self-preservation and selfishness. When someone consistently puts their needs above everyone else's, taking more than the fair share, it signals a dangerous mindset. Picture this: you're in a makeshift shelter, rations are low, and someone is hoarding food, refusing to share with the weakest members. That's not just selfish, it's a recipe for disaster. It breeds resentment, conflict, and ultimately weakens the entire group. True survival is about balance, understanding that we're stronger together. It's about empathy, compassion, and the willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. Be wary of those who only see the world through their own narrow lens. Their selfishness might just cost you your life. Web of lies. In the wilderness, honesty is crucial for survival. Lies can be lethal. Trust is founded on truth. In critical moments, depend on accurate information. Deception results in poor choices and danger. A true survivor is honest about their skills. Seeds of paranoia. Now, a healthy dose of caution is essential in any survival situation, but there's a difference between being cautious and being consumed by paranoia. If you encounter someone who constantly sees threats where none exist, who accuses others without evidence and thrives on stirring up conflict, be very careful. Unfounded suspicion can be as destructive as a wildfire. It creates an environment of fear, undermines trust, and can quickly turn a cohesive group into a fractured mess. Imagine you're trying to fortify your shelter and someone's busy accusing others of stealing, spreading rumors of betrayal, and sowing discord among the ranks. That's not just annoying, it's dangerous. Remember, in a survival situation, clear thinking and rational decision-making are paramount. Paranoia clouds judgment and can lead to rash actions with dire consequences. A trustworthy individual seeks to understand and resolve conflicts, not create them. The burden of blame. We all make mistakes, especially when the pressure is on, but a true sign of character is taking responsibility for our actions. If you come across someone who consistently dodges accountability, blames others for their shortcomings, or refuses to acknowledge their mistakes, be wary. In a survival situation, owning up to our errors is crucial for learning and improving. It allows the group to adapt, adjust strategies, and avoid repeating the same mistakes. Someone who constantly shirks responsibility becomes a liability. They're not contributing to the group's growth, they're hindering it. Imagine a crucial supply run goes wrong and someone refuses to take responsibility for misreading the map or failing to secure the supplies properly. That lack of accountability can have devastating consequences for the entire group. The language of aggression. In a crisis, tensions run high and disagreements are inevitable. However, there's a significant difference between a heated discussion and resorting to threats or intimidation. If you encounter someone who uses aggression to get their way, secure resources, or assert dominance, that's a clear sign to steer clear. Aggression breeds more aggression. It creates a hostile environment where cooperation and trust wither and die. Would you feel safe sharing a shelter with someone who threatens violence at the drop of a hat, who uses intimidation to get their way? Remember, a true leader, a trustworthy individual, relies on communication, diplomacy, and fairness. They understand that violence should always be a last resort, not a go-to tactic. The fragile promise. Out here, reliability isn't just a good quality, it's a lifeline. If someone consistently fails to follow through on their commitments, leaves others to handle the tough tasks, or disappears when you need them most, that's a red flag you can't ignore. Reliability is the backbone of trust. It means knowing that someone will have your back, that they'll pull their weight, and that they won't abandon you when things get tough. Imagine you're relying on someone to gather firewood and they disappear, leaving you exposed to the elements. Or you're depending on them to watch over the camp and they're nowhere to be found when danger strikes. In a survival situation, every member of the group needs to be dependable. Unreliability creates uncertainty, breeds resentment, and weakens the overall strength of the group. Trust your instincts. Remember, survival often hinges on the choices we make, and choosing who to trust is one of the most critical decisions you'll ever face. By recognizing these red flags, by understanding the traits that often signal untrustworthiness, you're giving yourself a vital edge in the game of survival. Trust is a precious commodity, especially when resources are scarce and the stakes are high. It's about surrounding yourself with individuals who share your values, who prioritize the well-being of the group, and who demonstrate courage, integrity, and resilience in the face of adversity. So stay vigilant, trust your gut instincts, and never underestimate the power of genuine human connection. In the wild, as in life, it's often the bonds we forge with others that make all the difference. Please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Also hit the notification button.